let's go ahead and highlight some different concepts that I want you guys to know as we go through this inheritance lab. So the traits found in individuals are produced by specific sequences of DNA called genes. Genes are going to be specific nucleic acid sequences that code for a protein. You have two copies of each gene, one from mom, one from dad. The pair of genes that contain DNA for the same trait are called alleles. Shouldn't be correct, it should be character, actually, now that I read it. So a pair of genes that contain DNA for the same character are called alleles. So it could be hair color, for instance. Maybe you're talking about eye color, things that we can actually see. These are phenotypes that I'm listing. Maybe it's specific protein, whatever protein you want to account for. You are going to have variations of that gene. Those are called alleles. Recall that when you have two of the same allele, they're identical, that is homozygous. If the alleles are different, that is heterozygous. So now we pay attention to these monohybrid crosses, and for each of the parental genotypes, I want you to show me the possible genotypes of their gametes. Remember that gametes are going to have half the genetic information that the organism had. So the parental genotype that appears as diploid, two sets, it's going to split during the process of meiosis. It's going to have genetic information. It's the process of meiosis. We're going to have haploid cells being produced, and we see that haploid cells being produced through the process of meiosis. So basically, we are splitting the genetic information. We're halving it. So if it was A over here, that A would be in one gamete, and this uppercase A would be in another gamete. This is going to be a homozygous. Let's see if I can fit this here. This is a homozygous dominant example. Okay, yeah, it fits. For my next set, I am again halving the genetic information. So one allele will go to one gamete, that's a lowercase a, and another allele will go to the other gamete. This is a homozygous recessive example. My last example, that's an uppercase A and a lowercase a. One allele will go to one gamete, the other allele will go to the other, splitting based on Mendelian genetics, right, his hypothesis. This is a heterozygous individual. So what was diploid becomes haploid. Now, two gametes come together. Let's say that this is maternal and this is paternal. Two gametes come together during the process of fertilization to create a zygote and an offspring. They will now make a diploid organism. Continuing on with the service of life, if I continue with my alleles to form diploid structures, I can see that there. Okay. All this has to do with Mendel's experiments and his hypotheses that he gave us, that Mendelian genetics that we've already discussed. So in the next part of the lab, we're looking at pea flower pictures. It looks like we are going to have two different kinds of parents. We're going to have purple flowers over here. That's uppercase F, uppercase F. I'm going to erase this in a bit. That is homozygous dominant because of those uppercase alleles. And looks like I also have white flowers. This over here is homozygous because it's the same allele. So I say homozygous, but that is recessive. So if I split these alleles, one to one gamete, one to the other, you can actually see, let me actually point arrows to where you actually see one allele goes here, putting that parent there, the purple parent, and the other goes there. There's my punnet. You guys know this. I can switch those lowercase then f's to go one here to show one gamete, one here to show the other gamete. You then run your punnet, make sure that the different alleles come together. Top one will come down, left side top will come down as well for that respective box. So I'll go ahead and do that. That's an uppercase F and a lowercase f. Sometimes, I'm going to point this out again, some students want to do this, lowercase f and uppercase f. That's fine if you want to write it that way. Usually you'll see the dominant allele be written first, but you are not technically incorrect if you do that, and I will not mark you off. I'm going to go ahead and write it. Oops, like this, uppercase F, lowercase f. I'm going to continue on my punnet. Now this allele comes down to this box, that column, and this row in that box as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and finish off. It looks like all offspring here, all offspring are heterozygous, meaning that they have two different alleles. They have the same genotype, that is uppercase F and lowercase f, so they're going to have the same phenotype. Let's think about that for a bit. So here in one box, that's giving me a probability. Each of these boxes are giving me a probability. In fact, they're giving me a 25% or 1 out of 4 boxes probability that that offspring is going to happen. Well, all of those boxes show the exact same result, heterozygous. Remember that the dominant allele, that uppercase F, is going to mask that recessive allele. So each of these offspring have that dominant allele. It looks like, go ahead and get my other color here, it looks like the dominant allele, as this question told me, is purple and the recessive is white. So then the same phenotype, all these offspring will look purple then, since they all have that dominant allele. So now that we've done that part, I'll let you guys fill out the rest. Go to step 3, then step 4, answer these set of questions, given that information, and then end determining what alleles you're going to find at the end. So continue on, answer yourself.